Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, it's election day and voters are casting ballots on 14 constitutional amendments.
Governor Greg Abbott calls on a fourth special session that's going on right now with schools vouchers and border security on the agenda.
And bond was set on a man accused in a shooting in Bloomington October 25th. The details in that case this evening.
We have a couple more days, two of mild weather, and then yes, winter is returning. By Friday, you'll be looking for windbreakers, jackets, raincoats, all that kind of stuff, as we're going to be changing the weather dramatically by this weekend. We'll have all those details coming up in a moment.
And the Yoakum Lady Bulldogs left it all on the court last night. We have highlights in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia. Election day is here. More than 26 polls open at 7 a.m. today in Victoria County. Now keep in mind the polls close at 7 p.m. Victoria County has open voting so you can vote at any of the 26 locations. A full list of those polling sites can be found at crossroadstoday.com. So far, 3,252 people voted early in Victoria County. And in this Texas constitutional amendment election, voters have to review over 14 different propositions.
We have 25 News Now weekend anchor Adam Seibel live with more on some of these propositions. Adam?
Yes, that's right, Don and Karina. So there are a handful of state propositions that voters are voting on right now as they head to the polls. But I wanted to focus on two of those state propositions, Proposition 4 and 9. Proposition 4 is a homestead exemption. That amendment increases the homestead tax exemption from $40,000 to $100,000 and authorizes the state legislature to limit the annual appraisal increase on non-homestead real property. Proposition 9, that's the teacher retirement system. That amendment authorizes the state legislature to make cost of living adjustments and other benefit enhancements to those eligible in the teacher retirement system. So we've been outside here at the Patty Dotson Center. We've seen people go in and out to vote. Now you have just under an hour to vote, so there's still time to head to this polling location or various other ones we have on our website that you can vote before the polls close. Reporting live in Victoria, I'm Adam Seibel, KAVU TV 25 News Now. Don, Karina, back to you.
Adam, thank you. Right now, voters in Victoria are using the new voting machines to vote in this constitutional amendment election. These new machines use a two-step process, meaning you vote. When you vote, your vote is stored both electronically and on paper to maximize accuracy. That means when you vote, the ballot will print on paper, which will then be able to be inserted inside a nearby tabulator. Every polling location in Victoria is using these new voting machines. And here is your viewer poll this evening. You can scan that QR code on your screen to vote. The question is, do you like the Texas two-step voting process in Victoria? Yes or no? According to our results, it looks like 74% stand at yes and 26% stand at no.
I voted this afternoon with the first time I'd ever used it.
What'd you think?
The people there were very helpful. I thought it was fairly easy.
Easy peasy?
Real. Oh yeah. It just make sure you had the paper in there. We got it in there and put it on the other thing. It went and it's
Easy
gone.
peasy like the Texas two-step.
That's right. There you go.
Thank you for voting. We're going to have an update on 25 News Now at 10.
The third Texas special legislative session ended Tuesday morning without a deal on school vouchers as well as several border security bills Governor Greg Abbott had asked for. The Texas Tribune reports the House adjourned just after 10 a.m., preventing the passage of any legislation that still remains in the Senate. Over 30 days, the legislature passed just 2 of the 5 items on the governor's initial agenda and none of the 5 items he later added. Never in the legislature's 176-year history have lawmakers met for more than 3 special sessions in a year with a regular session. Well, this afternoon, Governor Greg Abbott announced special session number 4 and named items for the special session that started at 5 o'clock today. The items include school vouchers and legislation related to school safety measures. Items involving border security include creating criminal offenses for illegal entry into the state from a foreign nation and legislation to increase border barrier funding. The Quail Creek Municipal Utilities District has a proposition on the ballot for Victoria County citizens.
The proposition would add $1.50 to local miscellaneous charges. 25 News Now reporter Adarius McCormick is live with more on the proposition.
Thank you, guys. Well, a vote for Proposition A would guarantee $3.1 million in bonds for waterworks, sanitary sewer, storm sewer, solid waste disposal, and solid waste disposal systems. What does this mean for Victoria County citizens? Well, a vote for this would mean taxes would rise. So the big question here is, does the county raise taxes and improve these systems, or does the county leave these systems and taxes as they are? Come out and vote. Polling ends here at 7 p.m. Reporting live in Victoria, I'm Adarius McCormick, KAVU TV, 25 News Now.
Darius, thanks so much. And for more on today's elections, come to our website, crossroadstoday.com. We'll have the results on our election results page under News.
And now let's take a look at your forecast with Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez. All this talk about voting. Well, let's talk about weather. Let's change
Great
gear.
weather for voting to get
Oh,
out
yeah.
there. and vote.
Yeah, it looks
Absolutely.
fantastic.
Certainly no excuse not to vote unless you're registered in the wrong county. We'll talk about that later. Anyway, sun's going down. It's going to be a fairly nice evening. You've got 2 more days of mild temperatures in the 80s, and then everything changes. By Friday, we'll be looking at strong gusty winds and some rather cold rain. We're at 76 right about now. We managed to get up to 86 this afternoon. By the time we get to Friday, Saturday, the high temperature is going to be about 61. So we'll be talking about that coming up in just a moment. Back to you.
Mac, thank you. It's been 1 month since Hamas terrorists attacked Israel, killing 1,400 people and igniting a war between Israel and Hamas.
Right now, Israeli ground troops are inside Gaza, and they say they're tightening their grip on Gaza City.
It's been 1 month of war. For an estimated 240 people, including Americans, it means over 30 days of captivity and counting by Hamas militants. The Israel Defense Forces marking 1 month by pushing ground forces deeper into Gaza, saying they destroyed more Hamas tunnels Tuesday.
Paramount need is to defeat this axis.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says there will be no ceasefire until all Hamas-held hostages are released. And a broader question after 1 month is, if current hostilities end, what's next for Gaza?
What does governance look like in Gaza? Because whatever it is, it can't be what it was on October 6th. It can't be Hamas.
I think Israel will, for an indefinite period, will have the overall security responsibility.
But an Israeli presence in Gaza could further inflame regional tensions.
The president still believes that a reoccupation of Gaza by Israeli forces is not good. It's not good for Israel, not good for the Israeli people.
That concern is expected to top the agenda of G7 leaders meeting in Japan Tuesday, where Secretary of State Antony Blinken and diplomats from 6 other nations are working on a united response to the ongoing Israel-Hamas war, a U.S. official tells CNN.
A lot of these questions are being asked amongst ourselves, amongst our partners, and with our Israeli counterparts, and we'll keep having those conversations.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
Now on Tuesday, the U.S. State Department said it assisted more than 400 U.S. citizens, permanent residents, and other qualified individuals in departing Gaza.
The office known as OCHA reports that about 1.5 million people in Gaza are internally displaced. Of those people, over 700,000 are sheltering in various UN relief facilities.
Police in Cuero were busy with a standoff around noon today. It happened near 2nd Street and Alamo Circle just before 2 p.m. Police arrested 61-year-old Frank Fisher. Authorities said he violated bond conditions by being at that home. He's charged with a repeated violation of certain court orders and bond conditions. This comes after police were at that same home on October 18th and arrested Fisher on charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Cuero ISD was notified, and due to the proximity of the incident, their campuses were under emergency procedures until the situation was over. Tuesday morning, Hallettsville police arrested 36-year-old Bradley Thomas Rosales at the 1500 block of North Texiana Street. Rosales was arrested on an outstanding warrant. He is facing 4 charges of indecency with a child. He is in the Lavaca County Jail in lieu of $100,000 bond.
Bond set on one of the 2 suspects in a shooting in Bloomington October 25th. A pre-trial bond of $50,000 has been set on Samuel Isaac Barraza. He is charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. The bond was set on Barraza because he has a parent that lives outside of Victoria County. The bond allows him to live with that parent, and he must remain outside of Victoria County until he has permission from the people who are overseeing his bond. No bond has been set on the other suspect, Zachary Wyatt Gonzalez. The Uvalde School Board has named the lone finalist for its superintendent position. KSAT reports Ashley Cholas was named the finalist at a special board meeting Monday night. Cholas is expected to sign a contract later this month. She brings 28 years of education experience and is currently serving as superintendent at Poth ISD. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell so you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us. Panic at Capitol Hill today. Coming up on 25 News now at 6, a man with a rifle has been arrested near Capitol Hill.
Also ahead, the Supreme Court hears the case regarding a ban on firearms for people with domestic violence orders.
Hi, I'm Detective Kelly Gibbs with the Victoria Police Department. Victoria Crime Stoppers is seeking information concerning a theft. The Victoria Police Department is seeking information on the identity of a Hispanic male who is a suspect of the 2 thefts. Both thefts occurred on August 3rd, 2023, at a business at the 8600 block of North Navarro Street. The suspect has a beard and a mustache and tattoo on his forearm. The suspect left the location in a mid-1990s model maroon or red extended cab Chevy pickup. If you have any information about these thefts, please call the Victoria Crime Stoppers at 361-572-4200. You can also submit a tip by using the P3 Tip app on your Android or Apple device, or by visiting our website at www.crimestoppersvictoria.com. All tips are anonymous, and if you give information that leads to an arrest or charges being filed, you could earn a cash reward. With the Victoria Police Department, I'm Detective Kelly Gibbs.
Capitol Police arrested a man who was spotted with a rifle near the Senate office buildings today. Officials say the man was seen walking in a park with what was described as an AR-15 style rifle. Officers told the man to drop the weapon and tased him when he did not comply. The suspect was identified as 21-year-old Amir Levon Merrill, a registered sex offender from Atlanta.
There is some indication that he may be dealing with some mental health issues. We don't know that. We don't know why he was in the park with a gun. He made no statements as to why he was here. or what he intended to do.
After he was in custody, officers searched the park, including the suspect's bag. The investigation is now ongoing.
Today, the Supreme Court heard arguments regarding the federal ban on guns for domestic abusers.
This following a gun safety regulation that has been around for 30 years, in which federal law prohibits the sale of firearms to anyone under a domestic violence restraining order.
Today, the issue of gun rights back before the U.S. Supreme Court. The court hearing oral arguments over a 30-year-old law that bans people under domestic violence restraining orders from possessing firearms. The High Court taking up the case 1 year after a ruling by the conservative majority on the court made it more difficult for governments to restrict individual gun rights. The Fifth Circuit Court struck down the law earlier this year, calling it an outlier, which led the Supreme Court to take it up. But several conservative justices, including Justice Samuel Alito, worry the law could deprive nonviolent Americans of their gun rights.
There are situations in which the family court judge, who has to act quickly and may not have any investigative resources, faces a he said, she said situation.
At a rally outside the Supreme Court, survivors of domestic violence sharing their stories and why the law is necessary.
I lost my niece to gun violence, and I grew up in a household with a domestic abuser.
According to the CDC, an estimated 12 million American adults are victims of domestic abuse every year, and on average, 70 die every month from being shot by an intimate partner. And women are 5 times more likely to die from a domestic abuse situation if a gun is involved, according to the Johns Hopkins Center for Gun Violence Solutions. But gun rights advocates worry the law could deprive nonviolent Americans of their gun rights without adequate due process.
This statute actually ends up disarming a bunch of law-abiding or otherwise good people. Judges often issue mutual restraining orders, which disarms both the victim and the abuser at the same time.
The Fifth Circuit ruled in favor of Zaki Rahimi, a Texas drug dealer who was indicted for gun possession in violation of a restraining order obtained by his girlfriend. The FBI says the law has blocked 77,000 attempted purchases of guns by domestic abusers since 1998, and the justices are expected to hand down their opinion in June. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Well, good evening, everybody. We're looking at the Pacific Ocean, and there's another tropical storm falling apart, and that activity, the debris is drifting toward us, which may enhance our rain opportunity beginning on Thursday night. We'll have more on your weather, changing weather, coming up in just a moment. Saw lots of people in t-shirts today. Yes, it was nice and warm, got up to 86. We did have a little bit of cloud cover, nothing significant, but the cloud cover is actually moisture coming in from the tropics. We can trace it all the way back to that tropical storm that's out in the Pacific. And the interesting part for me is that as that moisture builds up over our area and that low pressure rolls in on Friday, will we get a better rain chance or higher totals? I think the answer is yes. So with this next storm system, I'm going to say got a good opportunity to get up to 2 inches of rain. Now, that's storm total. Now here is Pilar. You can see how it's falling apart. The remnants are being picked up. They're walking up into the westerlies right about there, and they're moving pretty much into our direction. So that sets the stage for the next thing, which is the storm developing in the Rockies that'll start moving down. This is supposed to have red flag warnings, but it looks like they've been lowered out of West Texas. Up there is where the storm is going to develop. Overnight, we'll get down to about 67, not particularly cold, and tomorrow we'll be up to 84. So, you know, if you need to be outdoors, that's the day to be outdoors. By Friday, it's going to be all different around here. In fact, we're looking at quite a bit of change. Now, here's where the storm is developing in the Rockies. Now, in addition to this being an area of low pressure where everything's flowing into it, above it, we have a very strong jet streak, and that means that the air is moving vertically very rapidly, so that's where the storm is going to develop. Now, as far as we're concerned, it's going to pull some moisture out ahead of it. You can see it right here on Thursday. And then as the cold front moves through our region, we get what's called overrunning. So you've got cool air at the surface, then mild oceanic air on top of it, which condenses out and gives us a lot of clouds and some sort of drippy, drizzly kind of rain. That's why I don't expect any severe thunderstorms out of this, but almost a persistent rainfall pattern, which is very typical for a winter pattern around here. Here's the tide information if you happen to go fishing. Tomorrow is your day. After that, it's all over. So you better get out there, and it's bay waters are smooth. Sunrise 6:45, sunset 5:37. Now we're looking at our day planner for Port Lavaca, getting 72 up to about 80. Partly cloudy, not a bad looking day tomorrow at all. 68 in the morning in Cuero, getting up to about 84 in the afternoon. And here's what happens over the next 7 days. We've got warm weather on Wednesday. We start off warm on Thursday. After sundown, we start seeing the showers push southward into our area, and then the front comes in after midnight. By Friday, we've got that cold north wind blowing, high of only 64, northerly winds 18 to 25, maybe 30 miles an hour, and then a substantial rain chance all the way through Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So like I said, if you need some sun, you better get out there tomorrow. That's your best choice. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that and put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Karina.
Thank you, Mac. And now here's Sports Director Gino Perez.
Thanks, Karina. We have the latest on the volleyball playoffs. That's coming up after the break. At a crossroads, the Yoakum Lady Bulldogs are back from Seguin. Let's see how they did against the Poth Pirates. In the first set, the Lady Pirates had a 24-18 lead, and a vicious spike would lead to the first set for Poth. In set two, Yoakum had the lead 24-21. Poth with an even nicer hit, but a nicer save, and a good spike from the Yoakum Bulldog team to put them up and win the set, tied at 1. Yoakum would find itself down 2-1 and down 6 points with their season on the line. Yoakum's Jana Phillips, nothing there, but Poth with a nice set, but an even better dig. Lady Bulldogs still with a back hit there and still fighting for their season, and it's a nice rally. The Pirates with a good hit. Jana Phillips again with a hit, but still saved, and this would be the final point of the season for the Yoakum Lady Bulldogs. Game over. Poth wins 3-1. Yoakum did have a great season, falling in 4 sets. Now the team will likely cheer for the Yoakum Bulldogs, which are headed for Lorena Thursday night at 7. The Lady Gobblers season is also coming to an end after a hard-fought battle with the Needville Blue Jays. Quail found itself down 1 set and battled back and won set 2, 27-25. The two would exchange a set and go to the final and 5th set, where the Gobblers were just exhausted and could not keep up with the Jays, falling 15-4 in the final set. Great season, Lady Gobblers. Another team still fighting for their playoff hopes and beyond, the Lady Goliad Tigers. The top-ranked team in Class 3A has swept the previous 2 opponents, but so have the London Pirates. The 2 teams are facing off in Gregory Portland to keep its season alive. The winner of this game will have a tough matchup against the Columbus Cardinals, which are ranked number 3 in the state. The game can be streamed at NFHSnetwork.com. Now that basketball season is among us, here are a couple of rules that were implemented during the offseason. The National Federation of State High School Association Rules Committee has decided to get rid of the 1-and-1 free throws. Instead, it will be 2 shots after 5 team fouls in each quarter. The team fouls are reset following each quarter, and this was done to reduce the injury rates. In basketball news, the Victoria Generals announced today that head coach Michael Oros will return for his 10th season as the Generals take the field for the 2024 season. The Generals hope to build off their record-setting season as they hit the field for their 16th year in the Texas Collegiate League. General manager for the Generals, Mike Yoakum, said Oros' ability to recruit and develop has led to many successful seasons for the Woodbat team. The Victoria Generals will play 48 games in the 2024 season, 24 of which will be played here at Riverside Stadium. That's your sports. Don and Karina, back to you.
Thanks, Gina. We're back in a moment. A man from New England may have set a Guinness World Record while floating down the Connecticut River in a giant pumpkin.
Finally tonight, a Massachusetts man thinks he may have set a Guinness World Record while floating down the Connecticut River. There he is in a giant pumpkin. Dave Rothstein did it in his more than 1,000-pound pumpkin. Rothstein finished over 40 miles in 3 days, at least 3 more miles than the previous record. Rothstein says he did it to draw awareness to the need to protect the Connecticut River. He is still awaiting certification from Guinness World Records.
All these pumpkin guys.
Oh my, it's Halloween is over, but then people like to have pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving. So 'tis the season for pumpkins,
That's right.
I guess.
And for floating on pumpkins.
And still for voting, because you can vote until 7 o'clock
right.
tonight, and the weather is not bad for it today either.
Better hurry. It's perfect weather for getting out to vote. It's a lovely evening. Temperature is going to be only in the mid-60s tonight. Tomorrow we'll be up into the 80s again, and Thursday night is when the rain begins, and Friday the howling north wind blows in, and it's going to be, I dare say, chilly and windy, with the highs only in the 60s, overnight lows getting down into the mid and upper 50s, and of course damp and drizzly as well. But an extended period of about 4 or 5 days of damp, dreary stuff. So hey, it's winter. We needed this, and we were waiting for it for a long time. Just remember those long summer weekends that we had that were just brutal.
That's right. All right, Mag, thanks, and thank you for joining us, and keep it on crossroadstoday.com for the latest election results.
That's right. We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 10.